Hi, Dr. Heather here from Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today we're talking about low back pain. How big of a problem is low back pain? It's a huge problem. 50%, or actually over 50% of Americans will experience some low back pain in their lifetime. And at any given time, 35% of people are experiencing low back pain. Think of all the people that you know, maybe even you. 1 in 3 of those is experiencing back pain right now. So it's a problem, and it's costing us quite a bit. In fact, $50 billion a year is being spent on low back pain, and that's in the direct costs. Then there are the indirect costs. It's $100 billion in indirect costs. For example, people that are still showing up to work, but they're not as productive because they're in pain or they're on medications that dull their thinking and so on. So it's a huge cost. And we know that low back pain is actually one of the biggest reasons why we have the whole opioid crisis that we have right now, because people were put on the opioids as painkillers, not to correct the problem, but to just help them to manage it. And in the end, it actually got them addicted. And we know the big problem that we have with that right now. What are the other ways that low back pain is often addressed that may not be as successful? Research actually shows that if the first instance of back pain that you have, an acute back pain injury, if you go to a medical doctor, chances are 20% of the time you will end up with surgery. And yet the research also shows that if you go to a chiropractor as your first visit with acute low back pain, chances are only 5% will go towards surgery. In my own practice, over 30 years of practice, I've only had 2 cases that when they've been under care with me have had to go to surgery. So that means my numbers are even less than that 5%, it's under 1%. And those folks both had waited before they got in to see me to get started with care. So we know that this is a big problem. We know conventionally the outcomes are not that great. There's often failed back surgery that happens as well, where people have relapses. And so getting your spine checked properly to get the right care so that you correct the cause of the problem instead of just masking the symptoms can be really important in your future outcomes. If you're curious on whether or not you may have low back pain that could be helped with chiropractic care, then please click on the link below, and we have a new patient special so you can come in and we can assess and see whether or not we can help you. I hope to see you then.